To begin with, we will talk about the life on the court of Louis XIV. He was an interesting person who domesticated the nobility. He made it work because if not, they would exceed Louis' authority and exercise an absolute monarchy.
Louis XIV exercised the absolute monarchy between 1643 and 1715. The absolute monarchy was the form of government used at those times in which all type of power rested on the king. But this power has some limits, which are divided in two types of limits, legal and practical. The legal limits are the fundamental laws of the kingdom and local parliaments, and the practical limits are that he can change the number and quality of officials, the sale of charges and corruption, the nature, the inadequate infrastructure, and the localisms. To maintain his power, the king has some instruments of government, which are the nobility that conforms the court, the financing of the bourgeoisie, a permanent army, a specialized bureaucracy, and finally, dedicated ambassadors.
The society was divided in three states. States are social groups proper of the Middle Age and the Old Regime. From the 16th to the 19th century, each state has their economic and legal characteristics. They are divided in privileged and unprivileged people. The privileged group was conformed by the nobility and the clergy, and the unprivileged group was the third state that had to pay taxes.
The economy at that time was a subsistence economy. At the countryside, cultivating crops has a low performance, and there were big owners and small owners. In addition, we can talk about craftsmen who were controlled by guilds, closer groups who controlled production and the price of the object they produced. Furthermore, they perform a mercantilistic economy, which is a set of economic practices developed by the monarchies of the old regime. It was applied by the use of currency, a commercial favorable balance, measures of economic nationalism, and stimulating commercial companies.
Louis XIV, by name Louis the Great or the Sun King, was born on September the 5th, 1638, in France, and he died on September the 1st, 1715, in France. His kingdom started in 1643 and finished in 1715. He was the son of Louis XIII and the Spanish Queen Anne of Austria. He succeeded his father on May the 14th, 1643. At the age of 4 years and 8 months, he was, according to the laws of the kingdom, the master. Although he was saluted as a visible divinity, he was nonetheless a neglected child given over to the care of servants. He was an example of absolutism. He constantly said, "I am the state." The court was composed by the nobility, the people of the high clergy, and perhaps some very important bourgeois. The palace staff did not belong to the court. The court lived in the Palace of Versailles, which was rebuilt by Louis XIV, because he wanted to have his court near him for controlling these people. They were the right hand of Louis XIV. They suggest some decisions for Louis. The court was invited to celebrate enormous feasts in the palace. The nobility was prized in these feasts, but some nobles were not invited as punishment.
It was the capital of France from 1682 to 1789, the date on which the revolution began. The palace was ordered to be built by King Louis XIV, although the first building was a small hunting place built by his father Louis XIII. In order to move the court and capital of France, Louis XIV would build a palace of exaggerated dimensions and extensive gardens, reaching a total of 67,000 square meters. He had lived in several palaces, but none of them satisfied him, and he built it at his whim.
With this palace, the king decides that not only his family and his service will live there, invites nobles and soldiers to live in his great palace, to dedicate himself to honor the crown of France under a life of opulence and excess sounded in that era. At the palace, a series of strict rules were imposed, rules related to the protocol at meals, etc. The life of Louis XIV was done by a schedule. He had specific hours for each task, and that's the way it should be every day. The king, who had proclaimed himself absolute monarch, should always be the protagonist in everything, and his life became a great play where he was the leading actor.
King Louis XIV of France led several armed conflicts during his reign between 1661 and 1715. There were 4 major wars and numerous smaller conflicts. First, there was the War of Devolution in 1667-1668, in which France was fighting against Spain for the Spanish possessions in the Spanish Netherlands. Second, there was the Dutch War 1672-1678, a French attempt to conquer the United Provinces of the Netherlands, which turned into a major European war in 1674. Some years later, this was followed by the War of the Grand Alliance 1688-1697, in which once again almost all great European states were involved in fighting back French expansion. The last conflict was the War of the Spanish Succession 1701-1714. In this war, France and Austria both fought together to get the bigger part of the Spanish Empire after the death of King Charles II.
8:30 a.m. The first valet de chambre woke the king with, "Sir, it's time to get up." After a visit from the first doctor and the first surgeon, the first getting up ceremony began. Then the officers of the chamber and of the closest storehouse entered for the grand getting up ceremony, during which the king was dressed and drank soup for the breakfast. As well as the most important members of the court, the closest royal servants were allowed to watch this ceremony. The number of spectators, all male, was probably around 100. 10 a.m. A procession formed in the Hall of Mirrors at the exit of the king's apartments, and the king crossed the state apartments, followed by his courtiers. At this point, the crowd that had gathered along the way could finally see the king. Some could speak vividly to him or slip him a written note. The king sat down in the tribune in the royal chapel for mass, which lasted half an hour. The chapel music choir, which was famous throughout Europe, sang a new piece every day, composed by Louis de Lalande.
11 a.m. Upon returning to his apartment, the king held council in his chamber. On Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, the High Council was held. On Tuesday and Saturday, it was the Financial Council, while Fridays were taken up with the Council of Conscience. Last but not least, the Dispatch Council met once a fortnight on Mondays when there was no State Council meeting. 1 p.m. The king ate alone in his bedchamber, seated at a table facing the window. In principle, this meal was taken in private.
2 p.m. The king gave his orders and announced his plans in the morning. If he decided to go hunting, the favorite sport of the Bourbons, the monarch would go to the park. 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Louis XIV often left his son in charge of indoor entertainment. In the meantime, the king would sign the numerous letters prepared by his secretary. Then he started important paperwork.
10 p.m. The crowd would hurry into the king's antechamber to attend the dinner at the royal table. The king sat down to dinner with the members of the royal family. Once the meal was over, the monarch crossed the room and entered the saloon to greet the ladies of the court. He then retired to his cabinet to converse more freely with his family and a few close friends. 11:30 p.m. The going to bed ceremony, this public ritual, when the king retired to his bedchamber, was the exact reverse of the getting up ceremony.